welcome. This is Cheryl, aka Artsy Island Girl for Pear Blossom Press. Today I'm going to create a blowout birthday card using this adorable stamp set from House Mouse Designs. It's called Top Notch Birthday, and I'm going to use a candlelight to make the candle blow out. This is such a cool concept. You press the button in order to light the candle, and then you have to blow it out. So it's a fun one to do, perfect for birthday cards. I want to watercolor my design, so I'm going to use some distressed watercolor paper. I like it because it's nice and bright white, so the colors are nice and vibrant, but you can use whatever your favorite watercolor paper is. I am using my Misti stamping tool so that I can stamp the image multiple times just to make sure that I have a nice, crisp, clean image before embossing it. I like embossing before watercolor because it adds that ridge of embossing. It makes it a little easier to watercolor because I can watercolor right beside an area that is still wet, and that ridge of embossing is going to keep the colors from bleeding together. I use some embossing powder tool on my cardstock before stamping with VersaMark ink, and I'm going to heat emboss with some walnut stained glaze. For the House Mouse images, I love using a brown or a gray embossing powder. And the Distress Embossing Glaze line has several different shades to choose from, so you can pick and choose which works best. I just find the brown and gray is a little bit less or a little bit more subtle than, say, using black, but you could easily use black or whatever your favorite would be for this type of image. Now, I only want to have one candle on my cake, so I rubbed the flame off of the second one, but I'm actually going to be die cutting around this, so you're actually only going to be seeing one. So I'm not really worried about the left side of that image. I'm more worried about the right side and having the cake with at least one candle on it. Now, the great thing about House Mouse Design stamps is they always have several different sentiments that work well with the image. The one that I'm going to use for this card, it says blow out the candles and make a wish, but I'm going to remove the S for the candles and it will say blow out the candle and make a wish. So it's going to work perfectly for this image, for this card, and for the candlelight mechanism. So once I have this embossed, I'm going to emboss that sentiment. You could do them together, but I knew I wanted to die cut the top part, so I wanted to have a little bit more control over where that sentiment was. I wanted to be able to concentrate in order to try rub off the VersaMark ink off of the letter S. However, it still attracts the embossing powder when I pour it over top, so I use a soft brush in order to remove that embossing powder over the S from candles. So by doing that, I can make sure that I have a nice, crisp, clean image that just says candle singular. And once I have that cleaned up with the brush, I can melt the powder with my embossing tool. Now, the great thing about embossing is any of that excess powder that goes on the scrap piece of paper goes right back in the jar, so there's no waste with the embossing. So once I have that image embossed, I am going to watercolor it with some distressed watercolor pencils. This is set 1. I'm only going to use a few colors from this, and I'm also going to use some metallic pads in order to add a metallic touch to some of the areas on this image. I want the images to be nice and bright and fun because it is a birthday themed card, but obviously we need to do some browns and stuff like that with the mouse. So I'm first using walnut stain for the mouse, going a little bit darker around the outside edges as well as the tail and a little bit lighter towards the inside. I have a water brush here that has water right in the handle, so I have a piece of paper towel right to my right, and it will remove any excess color as well as excess water if I find that I have a little bit too much on there. For this second color here, for this light pink, I'm using picked raspberry, but I'm using just a tiny little bit of that pigment. Most of it is water because I want that color to be really nice and light. For the cake as well as the party hat, I want it to be purple. I know that the metallic colors I'm going to be using are nice and bright pink as well as blue, so I thought the purple would go well with that. So I'm using the Villainous Potion from this set. All of the watercolor pencils I'm using are from the same set to keep it nice and easy. I'm making sure to be a little bit darker underneath where the icing is poured over the cake. And when it comes to the hat, I'm a little bit darker towards the outside edges. So the great thing with watercolor pencils, when you first start using them, there's a lot of water and very little pigment. But as that water soaks into the tip of the watercolor pencil, you get more pigment. The color is darker. If you want it to still be lighter, you can remove some of the pigment by running your brush on some paper towel, taking the pigment off that way, or squeezing a little bit of more water into that while you're watercoloring. If you preferred, you could use your watercolor pencils right on your Distress watercolor cardstock, coloring in the the image being a little bit darker in areas you want it to be darker and lighter where you want it to be darker, and then use your brush to rehydrate that ink and spread it all around. However, I prefer not to do that, especially if it is a distressed watercolor pencil that's brand new, because it can be a little bit hard. So sometimes if you're working in an area where you want it to be darker, you get a little bit like pencil strokes, indents in that cardstock, and I find that I don't have that when I'm taking the pigment right off of the pencil with my brush. For the bright pink here, this is metallic ink. This is from Lisa Horton Crafts. It's called Lovestruck, and it is water soluble, so you can watercolor with it. It's going to be a little bit less of a metallic finish when you watercolor with it because you're obviously mixing water into the paint, but it's great for adding a little bit of extra shimmer and shine to the images. Anytime I'm doing watercolor, I'm always looking for different ways to add more texture. The embossing does that, but sometimes it can be a little bit flat if you're using the same medium over the whole thing. So I did a little bit of watercolor on that icing with some picked raspberry watercolor pencil. And then I'm going over, especially where that icing is dripping down the cake, with that Lovestruck metallic pad. This blue one here is called Coastline. So I'm going to use that blue one on the candle as well as on the little puff at the top of the party hat. That's going to add a little bit of a blue metallic shine in those areas. And obviously these colors can change if you want to use a different color palette, but it's always fun, again, to add different or to use different mediums in order to add texture as well as different finishes to your watercoloring. So you can see the metallic hint or the metallic shine a little bit when I tilt it into the light. It never translates well on camera as it does in real life. For the layers for my card, I'm using the Essential Arches die set. I have one picked out here that is the perfect size for the image. I tape it with some Best Ever craft tape in order to die cut it, make sure that die doesn't go in, or doesn't move on me. Now I did let my image dry for probably about a half an hour, probably more than I really needed to before die cutting it. So that image is totally dry when I'm die cutting it. Once I have that die cut, I can trim down the sentiment on the bottom, and I'm just using my trimmer to do that. I have two other sizes from the Essential Arches die set chosen. There's one size bigger than my image piece. I'm going to die cut that with some hammermill cardstock and use that as a mat around my image. And then I used the second largest size from this die set for the base of my card. I always love this die set for using to create shaped card bases. It just gives you an extra touch, a little bit something different from a plain rectangular card. Over top of my sentiment there, I watercolored that Lovestruck metallic ink on there. You could put that ink pad right over top of it, but it would be really quite bright. The metallic shine would probably overpower the sentiment. So by watercoloring it, I can kind of control how dark that ink is, and I can make sure that I can see my sentiment really well. For that mat to go around my image, I'm using that Coastline metallic ink, and there you can really see the metallic shine because I used that pad right on top of that cardstock. For my candle flame, I'm using an X-Acto knife on top of a cutting pad to cut out the inner part of that flame there. I want to put the mechanism for my candlelight right in that opening, and so it has to be open in order to be able to see that mechanism, as well as in order for the mechanism that makes it blow out to be available to be open. So once I have that cut out as much as I want to, I'm going to add a little bit of light around that candle by using some Squeeze Lemonade Distress ink, lightly ink blending around where that flame is and then around the whole image. I thought it brightened it up really quite nicely. So I put a little bit around the image and then just went around. And I'm using a sticky mat for my image piece there in order to hold it in place. But you can see that my mat needs to be cleaned off yet again, so it's not really holding it as much as it should. Once I have that ink blended, I can add that sentiment to the bottom. I wanted it to cover the bottom of the hat as well as the bottom of the cake because it wasn't necessarily the prettiest down there. And then I'm going to use some shears to trim that piece off. With one of the excess pieces, I'm going to create a little button for the mechanism for my candlelight. So there is a Stampin' Die set from Pear Blossom Press that has all sorts of activation words like press here, push, blow, that sort of thing. I am using the one that says press here, and there's also dies that go with it that are in that package that cut those out. So there's a circle die that is the perfect size for this one here. So I'm stamping that press here button or stamp with some walnut stain distress ink. This way it's going to coordinate perfectly with the embossing glaze from my image. Then I put that die over top of it, tape it in place with some Best Ever Craft tape so that it doesn't move on me, and die cut it. Next, we're ready for our candlelight. So they come in different packages. I have the 2-pack here. It comes with batteries. So I'm going to open up the batteries by cutting it out of the package. The back of this candlelight, as well as the battery, has a little plus sign. You want to make those plus signs match. That way you know that they are lined up right. And once that is done, I always test. I regularly test many times while I'm creating to make sure that it's working. And like I said before, this mechanism works by pressing it to light it, and then you blow it to snuff it out. So when I press it, it works perfectly. So I'm going to glue that to the back, making sure that opening shows exactly where that candle is or where that light is. And I just love the look of it. I always love interactive cards, but these ones that light up, I think, are just extra special. Once I have that in place, and I put it in place with some strong double-sided tape to make sure that it doesn't move on me, I figure out exactly where the mechanism, where that button is. I put a little pencil mark and then add some glue and then put my press here button right there so that I know where to press in order to light that candle. Now there's also a blow stamp in that stamp set I use from Pear Blossom Press. You could put that on top close to where the candle gets blown out, but I didn't find it necessary because my sentiment already says blow up the candle and make a wish. So I thought just the press here button was enough. I have some double-sided foam tape here for the back of my card. We need to make sure that it's thick enough to be thicker than the mechanism. This here I got from Pear Blossom Press. It's foam rectangles. I don't believe there's a link to it. You just want to make sure that whatever foam tape you use, it is thicker than that little battery pack for the candlelight. You can use whatever foam tape you like. Some of them I find are not thick enough, so you'd need to use a double layer. Whatever it is, again, make sure that it's thicker than that pack, or otherwise you're going to have a bump where that pack is. Once I have my foam tape on there, I can glue it right to my inked mat to go around there, and I've stuck that to the side so that I can work on my card base. I have my card base. I've got 2 pieces here, die cut out of some thick white cardstock, and I used my score pal as well as a Teflon bone folder in order to score about 1/2 inch from the top. Then I folded along that line to make sure I had a nice hinge there and glued the top of that together. This is the easiest way to make a shaped card, especially with a die like this that doesn't have a straight edge on the top. Then I can glue on my image piece and we are ready to go. Now, like I said before, I like finding different ways to add extra texture. So for this image, I'm using some glossy accents on the mouse's eye. I always love doing the house mouse with little beady eyes. I think it just suits them so well. And then I put a little bit on the icing for the cake to make it nice and glossy and dimensional. And you can still see a little bit of the metallic shine from that ink there, but it gives it such a beautiful glossy glow or glossy dimension that it just adds so much to it. The last thing I did was add just a little bit of stickles on some of the areas of the hat, again, just to give it a little bit of extra sparkle. And then I also put some lines on the candle just to make that sparkle just a little bit more. Now, after doing all of this, once this was completely dry and I let it dry for about an hour before flipping it over, I realized that I had forgotten to put the stamp from that stamp set from Pear Blossom Press. This is the same stamp set that had that push me button. I always like putting it on the back of the cards that I use these mechanisms on. I think it just suits it so well. So I stamped that with some walnut stain distress ink, just using a stamp block. And here is the finished card. An adorable image with some extra texture and dimension with glossy accents and different inks and whatnot. But then we have that blowout candle mechanism that just takes it to the next level. And it really makes it such a special card. I love cards like this that have those mechanisms to them. It makes them interactive. It just makes them so much different from cards that you can buy that are already done. And it has such a wow factor to it. So here is the finished card. I just love the shape to it too. I think it suits it really, really well. And by having some extra dimension, there's things that catch the light and sparkle that also catches the light that just really makes it such a special card to give to someone. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate the time that you spend with us. I hope you have a fantastic day.